Hello from Federal Way,
Federal
Washington.
Way. Bet you not many people know where Federal Way, Washington is.
I know where that is.
Do you really?
It's next to Oregon.
It's kind of close to Oregon.
Michael, we're live.
Hey, look at that. We're live again. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of TFLnow Live.
Today we are talking about the future.
And the present.
And the past, actually.
All three in one show. Would you look at that? We bring you everything here at TFL.
We bring you everything. So today we're talking about the future cars launching in the next few years that we are excited for. We are looking back at some interesting nuggets from our Craigslist Find Challenge. But first, some big news.
Some big news from China. Okay, so Chinese auto imports into China, so cars that China is importing from other places around the world, are actually down 90% from June 2017 to June 2018.
Wow.
So this past June, a grand total of 15,000 cars were imported into China, which is a country of over 1 billion people. And that's basically down 100,000 units from last June.
That's crazy.
So this is probably a reflection of some tariffs that have been placed in the recent months. So, you know, in total right now, cars imported into China in the first half of 2018 are down 22%. So not such a drastic change over the year so far, but it is crazy to see how just that 1 month can drop such a big amount. Basically, China in May cut its import tariffs by 10%. So they went from 25% down to 15%. And then the tariffs from the US showed up, and they bumped their tariffs up all the way to 40%.
Wow.
So this huge bump in tariffs, both from China and from the US, has basically caused imports into China to just plummet.
Yeah, from the U.S. And China raised import tariffs on foreign-made cars to 25% as of July 1st. In 2017, China imported 1.25 million cars. It's quickly becoming the largest growing car market in the world.
Huge.
Which is, you know, a fear for especially our domestic automakers. Because some automakers are actually taking a profitability hit rather than raising prices to stay competitive with other vehicles that are for sale in that market. But it's really going to dictate a lot of sales numbers going forward if these tariffs were to increase, especially for vehicles produced elsewhere other than China.
Right. So specifically, there's 2 U.S. manufacturers that I think are important to take note of. One of them is Buick. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Buick actually sells a huge number of cars in China.
And they actually produce vehicles in China,
and
too.
they build, like the Envision, they build in China.
Yeah.
So Buick makes up about a little over 1/4 of GM sales in China. So in June, GM sold, I think it was, they sold 850,000 units in China, and 230,000 of those were Buicks.
Yeah, and FCA, of course, has a big play in China as well. So we're going to have to see where this takes us going forward. Michael, tell us about our hood. Tell us about our hats.
Welcome to the hood, guys. So as you know, YouTube has a fun new feature for us called Super Chat, where you can sponsor our live show by clicking on the little $ below the chat box. And we actually have some things that we like to give back to you guys if you do sponsor us. So if you give us $5, we will write your name in Sharpie live on the show on our hood. If you give us $10, we will give you a TFL truck bumper sticker. You're just going to have to send us an email to info@tflcar.com, and we will give us your address, and we'll send you along a sticker. If you give us $25, is that right?
Yeah.
You get either a TFL truck or a TFL car patch. We got these really nice patches made. We would love to send them to you guys. $25 for that. And then $50, the top dog prize, you get a hat. You can either have this TFL truck technical trucker hat.
Wait, it's not an either. The first person
to send us, both. It's a both?
Yeah, the first person to send us $50 today gets our new TFL trucker hats and the Chevrolet Silverado hat. My dad and I just went on the 2019 Silverado first drive out in, where were we?
Wyoming.
We were in Wyoming, thank you.
Wyoming.
I got home earlier today, so I'm glad I forgot that. But we drove the new 19 Silverado. We've got a few videos up already, one on TFL Truck, one on TFLnow, where we go over some of the cool features. And we've got more coming, Driving Impressions Lift on August 13th. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But first person to donate $50 gets both the Silverado hat and the TFL Truck hat.
Yeah. So this is our way to say thank you to you guys for sponsoring our Super Chat. I want to do a quick shout out because I think it's an interesting question from Destin Kuti. Do you like Buicks?
Why is that an interesting question?
I don't know. Do you like Buicks?
Like, that's like saying, do you like homes?
Yeah. Well, do you like Buicks?
Well, I like some Buicks.
I like the Regal Tour X. I think that's a really cool one.
I like old Buicks.
Old Buicks. What's your favorite old Buick?
Whoa!
Hey! Whoa! Whoa!
Well, Walter Willis.
Whoa! That was quick.
$50.
That was so fast, Walter. All right. Thank you so much, Walter. Send us an email at info@tflcar.com with your address. And we will, oh yeah, and tell us if you want the red hat to be signed or not. All the members of the team will sign the hat for you if you choose. If not, we'll just send you the red hat. But thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it.
So to answer your question, yes, I do like Buicks.
I like Buicks.
The Grand National is the coolest Buick.
The GNX is a really cool Buick.
So let's start off by talking about the next generation of vehicles. We've got electric cars, we've got some gas-powered ones, and the number 10 car on our list is the 2020 Alfa Romeo GTV.
The GTV, which might arrive next year. It's a 2020 model, but we're not exactly sure when it's going to come to the U.S. So the last generation of GTV was sold from 1995, the year before I was born, until 2006. And GTV, fun fact, stands for Gran Turismo Veloce.
Yes, it does.
Or the Fast Grand Tour.
The FGT.
FGT. So FCA kind of announced their plans to do a new GTV in their 5-year update that came out a couple weeks ago. And basically what they said, it'll be essentially a coupe version of the Giulia.
Yeah.
And this one will be 600 plus horsepower. It'll have all-wheel drive, and it will have an electric boost functionality. So it might be like a mild hybrid or a part-time hybrid kind of deal.
Well, I think this is really where the future's going, as we've seen, right? I mean, there's so much potential you can receive from electrification, right?
Yep.
You have that instant torque, but then you also have the range of a gas motor. So
yeah,
we're kind of entering a glory age or a golden age for horsepower right now.
Totally, yeah. There was this point after which someone figured out, oh, we can use this to be more fuel efficient and more powerful. And that was a good day for the automotive enthusiast because it brought us a lot of really fast cars.
Yeah, so, you know, the day where hybrids were reserved for Priuses and, you know, kind of subdued luxury sedans is quickly changing.
Disappearing, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those still exist, but
right.
Now a lot of manufacturers are figuring out how to use it not only for better fuel economy, but also for better you know, performance and speed, which is always important. Should we move on to number 9?
We should. Let's do it.
Number 9 is the 2019 Toyota RAV4. There it is, a big redesign, which I think looks really good, actually.
Yeah, it does look good.
It's going to go on sale this December, according to Toyota.
Yeah, so this is the 5th generation of the Toyota RAV4. Big changes, right? I think this is the adventure trim model, but there's going to be different ones. There's going to be limiteds, which come standard with like a 19-inch wheel.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good-looking car. We don't know a ton about it. It's gotten a little bit longer, right? But we also have shorter overhangs on the vehicle. Yeah. So it's you know, an evolution of an icon, really, because the RAV4 has been around for such a long time. Yeah. You know, since the 1990s.
It's the best-selling crossover in America.
Oh yeah, we actually did a show recently, didn't we?
We did.
Where we talked about the best-selling crossovers in America. Check that out right now on our Fastlane Now channel. But
yeah, you know, actually, now that I'm looking at it for like a while, it kind of reminds me of like a big Hyundai Kona.
You think so?
A little bit.
Well, it's supposedly going to have the 2.5-liter four-cylinder that's shared in the Camry. You know, official numbers haven't yet been released, so we're going to have to stay tuned for those. But it's going to be on sale this December, allegedly. Obviously, we covered a lot of this information at the New York Auto Show.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to have to check that full video out if you want more info on this.
And I'm sure we'll learn more, too, with the coming auto shows, because auto show season is almost upon us. November is LA, and that kind of kicks things off for the next 3 or 4 months thereafter. So
Multipurpose Reviewer says, bring us the FT4X concept Toyota. And the FT4X was kind of this off-roady looking little crossover concept that they revealed. And it was a little bit disappointing because a lot of us guys were hoping for a replacement to the Land Cruiser, and it turned out to be more of like a crossover-based vehicle. And we'll see if they actually go ahead and make that. Currently, you can get the RAV4 with the Adventure Package, which is the most
off-roady one.
Off-roady RAV4. Yeah. It's got like an inch lift.
And it has better cooling for towing as well.
Does it?
Yeah.
And you get the sticker package.
Yep.
I really do like this redesign. I can't wait to see it in person. I see a lot of Highlander in the nose. Yeah. But it's still a evolution rather than a total revolution, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a drastic, it's a big change, but it's not so far off. All right, number 8, we got to move on.
Yep.
The Cadillac CT6 V Sport, which will be available early next year. So it's going to have, oh, look at that. that looks gorgeous.
Oof.
It's got the classic Cadillac V mesh grille. So it's going to have a Cadillac exclusive 4.2-liter twin-turbo V8, Tommy.
Yep.
550 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque. It was revealed at the New York Auto Show this year. We, of course, covered that on TFL Car. You can go over there and check out all the stuff we have about that. But it's going to be, it's not like a straight-up V. It's not a CT6 V per se.
It's got
a
550 horsepower.
It's a V Sport, though.
Well, what's the regular V going to have?
I don't know. Probably more than 550 horsepower.
How
I
much
guess.
horsepower do you need in a large sedan?
At least 550.
It also gets a limited slip rear diff in the all-wheel drive system.
Cool.
You have different lower accents in the front fascia,
Yep.
different wheels, larger wheels. And in the back you have quad exhaust as well, which is pretty cool.
Fun fact for those of you guys who don't know, if you ever see a Cadillac with this type of grille, usually it's a V. That's kind of the dead giveaway.
What is this type of grille?
This mesh pattern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the like V grille.
Like the crossover strands.
the mesh pat. Yeah, that's V specific.
I'm waiting for my Escalade V.
That would be cool, actually. Like an RST, but of the Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah, but even more, like
But
an 18 million
maybe
horsepower.
with the 4.2-liter twin-turbo V8, perhaps?
Yeah, and we'll get to this engine actually a little bit later when we talk about the mid-engine Corvette.
We will.
But on the other end of our list is the 2020 through 2021 ID Buzz, and this is actually going to be a series of vehicles, right?
Yeah, so there's the ID Buzz.
Which is like the coolest one. If you don't think it's the coolest one, you're wrong.
Then there's the normal ID, which we won't get, so ignore that. And then there's the ID Cross, and they're spelled with Z's instead of S's. But the Buzz is basically a new bus, except for it's electric, so Buzz. And the Cross is like a crossover, so.
So why aren't we getting this little guy in the U.S.?
Couldn't tell you, Tommy. Couldn't tell
Okay,
you.
so the ID series is the electric series of Volkswagens that's coming.
Yes.
And we actually saw this several years ago, or a while ago, the ID Buzz. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, they keep just taunting us with it, and they haven't come out with a full production one. I'm just dying to see it because the Eurovan has been gone for a long time.
We need a new Volkswagen van here in the U.S.
Yeah, and even the Eurovan wasn't a true replacement, in my opinion, to the original Volkswagen, you know, camper van or transporter.
So actually, though, Tommy, so I'm going to go back to Pikes Peak again because it's relevant here. So back in June, Volkswagen invited me down to Pikes Peak for the race.
Yep.
And they were obviously running the IDR Pikes Peak, which is a very specific race car they built to run Pikes Peak, and obviously it did very well. But they also had an ID Buzz there. They had it at the Pikes Peak Fan Fest, and you couldn't get inside of it. You could though get right up next to it, and it's big. It's a really big vehicle. Like I think the pictures you see of it, you kind of think, oh, it looks really tiny. It's huge. It's an absolutely massive van. But yeah, I'm really excited to see that because we are supposed to get it in the U.S. And I really want to have a van, and it'll be electric, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Number 6 on our list is the 2020 Shelby GT500. This is a car that we've thought is going to be revealed for the last like 18 months or 18 auto shows. Yeah, and it's just, it hasn't come yet, but hopefully we're hoping maybe this upcoming Detroit Auto Show. So what we're speculating is over 700 horsepower.
Ford has said it will have over 700 horsepower. They haven't said how much over, but they have said it would be over 700 horsepower.
So the previous GT500 made 662 horsepower.
Right, and that was on the previous generation Mustang, obviously. So it's been a while since we've had a GT500. I think we've had the GT350 for a while, and it's got a really cool flat plane crank V8. It makes a great noise. It's a very track-focused Mustang, very fast.
And if Ford decides to sell the 500 and the 350 next to each other, side by side, it's going to be like the first time in 5 decades it's happened. So that would be really cool to have that option. Some speculation here is that it's going to have like a supercharged version of the GT350 5.2-liter flat plane crank.
Right.
So not exactly sure. Looks like it's got a huge mouth.
Giant mouth.
This visual here.
Well, we've seen spy shots of it, and the spy shots of it have like a big bar across the front here, so I don't know what to think of the looks. Some magazines have come out with renderings that have this like big gaping mouth kind of look thing to it. I don't know if I love it, but sitting like 10 feet that way is a brand new 2018 Mustang GT Premium. It's a $53,000 Mustang sitting over there.
Why is it sitting over there?
Because we have it for the week because we're going to do a bunch of videos with it, and I'm really looking forward to it because it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's too loud. And
it's not too loud.
I just got back from the drive of the Bullet Mustang. And I was actually talking to the designer of the Bullet Mustang, or one of the engineers on the Bullet Mustang, and they said the design team really enjoyed the Bullet Mustang because unlike vehicles like the 350 and the 500 that's got these crazy spoilers and wings and air inlets, the Bullet is such a pure design.
Very clean look.
Yeah, it's a different kind of challenge for them. So we're going to have to wait and see what the final number is. Are they going to make more power than the Red Eye?
That's the question, right? So the GT500 kind of needs to compete against a bunch of things. It needs to compete against the Camaro, what's the
ZL1?
The ZL1. Needs to kind of compete against the Corvette ZR1.
Yeah, sort of, more or less.
It needs to compete against the Hellcat, Red Eye, or the Demon. It's gotta knock those down, or try at least to knock them down in some way.
Well, I know with the previous generation Hellcat now, right? Or I guess the pre-faces lifted one, the 707 horsepower was largely driven by beating Ford's 662 horsepower benchmark set with the previous GT500, and they did that. So we'll have to wait and see if.
Hopefully, I mean.
I don't think they're going to beat him on 797.
797 would be the Hellcat Red Eye. I doubt that. I mean, if Ford is advertising 700 plus horsepower, they would say 800 plus horsepower if it was going to be over 800 horsepower, right?
Right. So shout out time. Multipurpose Reviewer says Hellcat will reign supreme. We'll have to wait and see about that. Actually,
we'll see. We will see, Multi.
Let's see, what else do we have going on here in the comments section? When can you test a new Ford Ranger? Great question.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, we're waiting to know that as well.
We're dying to find out.
Stephen Y says, breaking news, Volkswagen caught in emissions testing scandal with electric cars.
Yep.
And T Nitro N says 500 horsepower is crazy scary when flooring the gas pedal.
Yeah, it can be, yeah.
And Josh Opre, I'm sorry if I spell your last name wrong, says, who wants a Yugo GV?
Andre does. Andre desperately wants to buy a Yugo. Andre wants to buy a Yugo.
Why
I promise you that.
Does he actually want to buy a Yugo?
He actually wants to buy a Yugo.
He doesn't want to buy a Yugo.
No, for off-road, he wants to buy a Yugo.
Okay.
I'm dead serious.
So, our number 5 car on our list is the 2019 Audi e-tron. So, the e-tron is similar to like the ID series. As far as we know, it is the Audi electric series coming to the United States, which will allegedly launch in September. We know that there is going to be multiple versions. So there's been speculation about an SUV, also a fastback or a sedan kind of design. Here is a concept of the SUV. This you can see is kind of clever. It says e-tron in the side. Currently, they actually make the A3 e-tron, which you can go out and buy. What that is like an electrified. What are you doing? Well, stop drinking.
I'm just having a sip.
It's like an electrified version of the A3. And Michael is having a sip because if you go to the Fast Lane car tomorrow, we have maybe some cool e-tron stuff coming, perhaps. We'll see.
Who knows?
So check that out for sure.
At 4:01 p.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah, check out the Fast Lane car. And number 4 on our list is the 2019 BMW Z4 and the Toyota Supra.
So I'm going to call these the, well, there's some kind of twins, I guess, because they're being jointly developed between Toyota and BMW. So both are going to have a twin turbocharged straight 6 engine. The Supra recently ran at the Goodwood Festival of Speed in a lot of camouflage. The Z4, this is the Z4 concept, but I hope that the design remains pretty close to this because I think that's absolutely gorgeous. And we know the Supra is also going to be getting a less expensive 4-cylinder option. But the interesting thing, Tommy, and it's something you and I have talked about, is that we think that these cars will be somewhere in the realm of like 350, 360 something horsepower.
Right.
Which you don't think is enough.
No, and I don't think it's enough because in an age that's horsepower obsessed.
Yes, as we called it, the golden age of horsepower.
Yeah, and you see that in everything, right? If you have a Cadillac CTS V Sport that's coming out with over 500 horsepower, right? And you've got a Demon Red Eye with 800 horsepower. It's like horsepower sells cars and trucks.
Right now it does, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if 350 or whatever it'll be will be enough.
But I think the cafe numbers will be enough because they're saying something in the realm of like 3 and a bit seconds 0 to 60. Like they'll be really fast. Well, but it won't be high horsepower numbers.
So we're thinking they're going to have a straight 6.
Yeah.
Which is great for Supra fans because the Supra has been this legend with the straight 6 in the past.
Yeah.
And currently in the United States, at least, Toyota doesn't build a straight 6 engine.
No.
But BMW has a lot of straight 6 experience.
Have been for a long time.
Yeah, as well for a long time. So we're thinking maybe a twin turbo straight 6
would be sweet.
Would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about, there also may be like a less expensive 4-cylinder option, maybe a 2-liter. Because BMW is heavily involved with a 2-liter program.
Yeah.
I still think this is ugly.
Yeah, the Supra's design.
This is a race car, right? So this is the race.
This is
Supra.
Toyota Gazoo Racing. I'm sure it'll look very similar to this, obviously without all the canards and flares and wings and things like that. But the nose is kind of like, you know, you look at it and you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. The Z4, on the other hand, maybe put that back up because it's way prettier. Look at that.
It's a lot going on there.
It's gorgeous. I don't know
You think
what
so?
Yeah,
Well, the question is the Supra just going to be like a rebadged Z4? Is it going to feel similar, or on the inside is it going to be completely different and all
I think
Toyota?
the consensus seems to be that they're going to feel like very different cars, according to rumors and statements that have come out. Is the consensus seems to be that they should actually end up feeling very different from one another.
Right.
Which is interesting because obviously, like the Toyota Baru, those two are identical except for the colors and trim, basically.
People want to know what you're drinking.
What am I drinking? Actually, it's a mix of lemonade iced tea and now some lime sparkling water.
I don't know why you do that, because you're gross.
I just wanted to fill up the cup, so I had some extra time to not say anything.
Okay. So number 3 on our list is the 2020 Volvo Polestar.
No.
What?
It's not a Volvo. It's a Polestar 1.
It's a Volvo.
No, it's not a Volvo. It just looks like a Volvo, and it's built by Volvo, but it's a Polestar.
So it's a Volvo.
Well, no.
It looks like a Volvo. It's built by Volvo, but it's not a Volvo.
Well, okay, it's Volvo's spin-off brand, Polestar, which was it actually was a racing team for Volvo from Sweden, and then Volvo started hiring them to do like tuning in-house, and then Volvo bought Polestar and did in-house tuning, kind of like AMG or BMW M. And then Volvo was like, okay, forget this, we're just going to spin them off into their own company. And so now Polestar is like Volvo's electric spin-off brand. And this is their first car that's coming out in the US and in the world. It's called the Polestar 1. It'll be on sale next year.
So talk about some of the numbers.
600 horsepower. Bam! Forget about the Cadillac CTS V Sport. 600 horsepower in a Volvo, Tommy.
And go onto the website. You can have any color you want as long as it's bland.
Yeah, you can have, let's see, it's black, white, silver, gray, matte gray, or blue gray.
Ooh.
Yeah, those are the color
Blue
options.
gray.
You can have gloss black wheels, matte black wheels, silver wheels, polished wheels, I believe. And then you can have a black grille or a not black grille.
Yeah, so it's expensive, right? 155 grand, and it's kind of the first step in the full electrification or partial electrification coming for the Volvo brand.
Right. So actually, one of the interesting things about this too is that I think they originally announced it to be a subscription-only vehicle. Mm-hmm. So Volvo has this thing now called Care by Volvo, where you pay like a flat rate per month, and you get the car and a concierge service and insurance.
I was reading allegedly this car is going to be like $4 grand a month if you go down that road. Which is a lot of money.
Well, so yeah, $155,000 and up. I think Volvo eventually decided that they should just sell it.
Chase says he wants a blue gray. Huh?
Blue gray.
That's a gray. You can have that color. Can I have a red?
No, you can't.
Oh,
it's too exciting. You can't have red.
That's a bummer.
Oh yeah. But anyways, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a big Volvo nerd, so if you ever have Volvo questions, send them to me. My first car is a Volvo. Let's move on to number 2.
Number 2 on our list is the 2020 Ford Bronco. Now, we have a lot of cars that were coming in and out on this list.
Look at that sheet. That is a nice sheet up there.
Yeah.
Covering the Bronco.
Ford actually revealed this photo. It's like the outline of the Bronco, and people have spent like hours deciphering what it means. I think it's just a sheet covering like a truck thing, but
That's exactly what it is.
We'll have to wait and see what it really looks like. So the Bronco is a vehicle that goes way back in the Ford history, right? 1966.
Yeah,
It was the brainchild of Lee Iacocca, and they've had several generations. They were really cool and small, then they got really big and fat, and then they got really O.J. Simpson, and now we'll have to wait and see what this new one is. So allegedly it's going to be a 2-door and a 4-door is what we're thinking.
Both.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the, well, you want to talk about that one. But, it's got a long history of Bronco and Ford, and here's the question. Is the Bronco in Rampage, the movie?
The one that The Rock drove.
Yep. Is that the upcoming model? And my answer to that is no, because it was a concept from like 14 years ago.
Well, now hold on. So look at. I just noticed this. So look at this, right? It's flat, and then there's this little hood bump, right? Go back to the other picture, Zach. Bam! Look at the hood bump. There's a little bump right here.
You heard it here first. If it's flat and a hood bump, it's got to be the new Bronco.
This is a concept. I remember when this concept came out, actually.
Wait. So if I cover a table with a loaf of bread and then cover it all in a sheet,
that's the new Ford Bronco.
it's flat with a bump in it.
But I think it's similar. I mean, look at that. You got a very flat face. There's these. You can see the hook bits at the front. Go. Other one.
The hook bits. What are you?
Hooks or bumper, whatever. Brush guard. Bumperettes. Back to the other one now.
Oh boy.
Bumperettes here.
Okay, so Michael's
Back
wrong
again. Come on, Zach. Bump guards here. Look at that. It could be close, actually. I think upon looking at that.
So it's still, masked in mystery, if you will.
Yeah, we have no idea what it's.
We don't know if it's going to be based on the Bronco. We don't know if it's going to be body on frame. We don't know if it's going to have solid axles. We're thinking it'll probably be powered by an EcoBoost because everything Ford does is powered by an EcoBoost now.
Probably. I kind of hope it will be powered by a big 5-liter V8.
Well, I think you're wrong. It's probably going to be a 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder EcoBoost.
No, I don't think it will be a V8. I hope it will be.
Well, your hopes are wrong, so.
I don't think it'll.
Go smother your hopes and dreams somewhere else.
I'll smother them in lemon lime iced tea.
Okay, so number one car on our we're excited for list is the C8 Chevrolet Corvette. May go on sale as soon as mid-2018. The internal designation is Y2.
That's not the mid-engine Corvette, for the record. That's just a normal Corvette.
C7.
We have no idea what, we can presume what the mid-engine Corvette's going to look like, but no official pictures have come out yet. So the best you can do is kind of look at this, cover up the back half, and then assume there'll be like an engine somewhere in here, and this will be a little shorter maybe.
Today in the fast lane now, Mike
move things around a little bit. You
Mike
can picture
makes
what it's going to
stuff
look
up.
like.
No,
I'm not making stuff up. It'll look similar.
So it's the first mid-engine Corvette, although, you look back in Corvette history and there have been talks and concepts about mid-engine Corvettes for a long time. But, we've actually seen concrete prototype camouflaged mules testing in the past.
We know it's coming. We're pretty confident it's coming.
Yeah. So let's talk about some speculation. So one of the speculations is we talked about that 4.2-liter V8 in the Cadillac earlier, right? We're thinking there may be a variation on that going into this new Corvette, perhaps very high revving, perhaps a 5.5-liter. We'll have to wait and see. Could also be like an LT1 going in the mid-engine Corvette. All sorts of speculation coming.
Could be cool.
And we think there's going to be some overlap with the design on the C7.
Yeah, I think they might look kind of similar. Based on all the prototype images that have come out so far, it does seem to share a similar shape in the front end. Obviously, from the wheel backwards, it's all different. But
Zach, what did you want to tell us?
I think we need to move on to our
Craigslist challenge.
We have some honorable mentions, which we're going to zoom through really quick here because
can I do some zooming?
There's so many exciting cars coming. Yeah, what are some of the exciting ones?
Cadillac XT4. Our friend Matt and your dad is going to that in Seattle soon. The Lincoln Aviator and Ford Explorer. The Aviator was revealed in New York. We don't know about an Explorer yet. It has a rear-wheel drive chassis. The 19 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, the AMG model of which will do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, thanks to a 577 horsepower twin-turbo V8 underneath the hood. The Jeep truck, the Scrambler as it may be called, that's coming up soon. I really am looking forward to that. And the Genesis Essentia concept, which was shown at the 2018 New York Auto Show. It's a design language proof for Genesis, and it looks gorgeous. Look at that.
It looks like it's ready to kiss you.
This is all aerodynamically influenced, Tommy.
It also looks like it has a rotary with a triangle.
It was designed by a Belgian man named Luc Donkervolk, and his last name means dark clouds.
Thanks for that piece of trivia.
You're sure welcome.
So today we looked into the future. Now let's look at the past at two of our upcoming concepts that if you can't wait, you can buy the old version right now if you look hard enough.
On Craigslist or eBay or whatever site you want to buy it on.
So talk about the first one we have chosen.
The 2008 Shelby GT500. This one's in Denver. We could buy it for $48,000.
Yikes, Michael.
Or we could spend $5,000 more and buy that red Mustang back there. So this one's tuned, actually. It makes 651 horsepower, which is absurd. It has drag tires on it. So I think this guy's maybe been going to Vandermeer. And it only has 13,000 miles. But given the state of those rear tires, we think it did each 13,000 of those miles 1/4 mile at a time.
Yeah.
Because, it has drag tires, and they're beat.
Yeah, these older GT500s are really cool. That there's several generations of GT500. You can choose which one depending on how deep your pockets are.
Go older. You can go with this.
You can go newer than the 662 horsepower one. But if you can't afford either of those, our next car on our list is the 1985 Ford Bronco 2.
Look at that.
Really the better Bronco if
Oh
you
my
think about
God.
it.
$1,000 Bronco. Oh my goodness.
I promise you,
Oh no.
you can probably quote me on this.
Oh.
The new Bronco,
Oh,
Can you be
my
quiet?
God.
the new Bronco is not going to cost $1,000. This one does. Producer Zach hates the Bronco 2, even though it's the cooler Bronco.
It's not the real Bronco.
It's a real Bronco.
It's a Bronco.
It's cool. It's short. Short wheelbase. It's got 66,000 miles, but it could be 166,000 miles. So who knows? 5-speed manual transmission. Zach makes me say in our script, it's a Bronco of sorts. It's a true proper Bronco.
No.
It's a hairy-chested man's Bronco.
Is it? It's maroon with gold trim.
It's our hairy-chested
No,
man's
no,
Bronco.
And it's got.
That's the real Bronco.
Oh, look at that. Well.
That's an
That's a
overweight.
full-size real Bronco.
That's an-
V8.
That's an overweight, underpowered OJ Bronco. Nobody wants that.
So which one would you guys have? Is it the GT500 or the $1,000 Bronco? Let us know in the comments right now, or let us know in the comments down below if you're watching this after it publishes. Tommy, that is a miserable color. You have to know
Carcane
that.
says Bronco 2 has the actual worst brakes I've ever used. That's how you know you're a man. If the brakes don't work, it's a good truck.
That's not, no, that's so.
And on that
not how
note,
that works.
we are ending today's shows.
Okay.
Let us know what cars and trucks you're excited for in the future. We didn't mention a lot of them, but we did talk about a bunch of them. Stay tuned for tomorrow when we're talking trucks.
Also tomorrow at 4 p.m., come back to TFL Car, where there'll be a certain video about a certain German car we talked about in this show today.
Yep, a future vehicle.
Thanks, guys.